Okay, welcome to the commentary for Daniel Boone National Forest in 4K, backpacking, camping, and hiking, Clifty Wilderness. I'm Robby.
And this is Bryan. Not joining us today is not Andrew.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so when did we take this trip? I don't even remember.
You know, the whole time I was preparing for this commentary, I was thinking this was the Monongahela trip.
We had been here before during our
Oh,
trip
right.
And then I realized this was
the
the one where I made the shish kebab. So,
These kind of felt like, those two felt like similar episodes, just in that they were kind of like nondescript forests. You know what I mean?
The sun started setting,
I
and dusk was
don't remember when we took this. It was definitely early summer, or I mean late summer.
We posted on April 30th.
Making it before dark seemed slim.
No, we posted on April 30th, so it was before that.
We made it.
So this was sometime in the spring,
Oh, yeah.
and we've been to Red River Gorge before we did an episode on that. This is like a separate area that's to the east of Red River Gorge.
Finally, we
Yeah,
made our
and,
way out by following the same
Our
Which,
original
uh,
Red River Gorge trail was on the west side.
And then
Right,
it was
right.
off to the trailhead.
Oh, this is when I had gotten there
Yeah,
early that
yeah.
day. So there's actually
By
some
now,
vlogs
dusk
of
had
me
fallen,
like
but it
exploring
was still
another
plenty
trail.
warm. We got our
There's
bags
a
ready
lot
and
of
set
stuff
out on
there
the
that
trail.
you could take forever to actually explore everything.
Yeah, and I think this is the one where, when we got there, didn't someone's car had just gotten broken into or something like that? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So we were like,
Yeah, somebody's car got broken
yeah, we were
into.
taking all this
Yeah.
precaution, like putting like all of our stuff
portion
under
of the trail
like
was very
rugs
flat
and,
and easy to
stuff in
hike,
my car, so nobody
which
could
was
see me.
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
nice in
yeah.
the dark of night.
There was like glass and stuff on the ground,
yeah.
right? And then the ranger actually came
The
up
lack of
right
light
as we
didn't
were
stop us
taking our
from
packs
finding
out, like in that
interesting
scene where we're putting our packs on and
Yeah.
stuff. And he was asking us if we
Good to know that
knew the person who got their car broken into, and we were like, no, nobody was here. So apparently the person got broken into and then just left before the
Yeah,
ranger
yeah.
even got
And
there.
up there, it almost looks like those branches have like claws on them. And that's just where
This
the seed
this
pods
episode starts out a lot like
and a little
our
later
second
you'll
episode,
see this very flowery looking
where was
spot
that?
Oh, Morgan Monroe,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
In the dark, identifying
Wow.
trees.
here. Here we've got some holly.
That
Christmas.
is such like
A
a
lot of people get confused
characteristic
with mistletoe.
like
I mean, if it were winter,
look
it'd be appropriate
of
because we also
the
have
pure darkness and just headlamps coming through the
Yeah.
dark.
And up here we've got another evergreen coniferous tree. that
Should
you
have called
see
this show The Three Stooges.
Also, a giant magnolia. tree.
It's like the one thing we still haven't learned through all of our trips is how to get there earlier.
It's because I don't think any of us are willing to get up early
Felt like
enough.
we were the only ones
So like even
moving
if it's like a
about.
6-hour drive, we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll leave at like noon. And then get there at night.
Yeah, this must have been
Oh, that's cool. You see
earlier in the spring because I know even though we arrived kind of late, it was still
Stars
kind
weren't the
a
only
little
ones we
dark,
saw from the trail.
like fairly early. So it was probably before daylight savings or whatever.
Yeah.
We just saw, like,
Oh,
two
this was
stars
the
back
trail
there.
that was literally right
Yeah.
next to the road.
Yeah.
Remember that?
It was good to be out at night.
I think that's what you just said on there.
Yeah, well, I think we were just all talking about it, how we saw just headlights going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still February. It's February 24th.
And I think you guys like went up and decided to check out the road.
Yeah, we did. I don't think we
No,
showed.
no, this is it
Or-
right here.
Oh,
yeah.
we did.
Decided to
Okay.
check out
I was
the
about to
road
say
that was
we
just
didn't
off
show
the
it,
trail.
but yeah. it's right
At
here.
least we know we wouldn't get stranded.
It's like the easiest episode
It's a really
of
nicely paved road.
Survival Man or Man vs. Wild.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. It's like warm in February. We got this road right here. On this log, we've got a lot of these little shelf fungi growing. This like sort of fuzzy.
We've got
stuff
nothing to
is,
say.
Oh, yeah, we
tail
did
fungus.
start this
It's
episode.
always got these like.
Yeah, this
sand
episode
color
we
and-
started with
it's
nothing
actually
but
edible. You can cook it in
like
soup.
plant
Yeah.
ID.
But right next to it is false.
Actually, no, this whole
It's sort of
episode, I
white
think there's a
color,
ton of plant ID because I
orange
remember
green. Not
when
edible,
Thomas saw it
but
for the first time, he
But
was
turkey
just
tail,
like,
even though it's sort of late in the year,
that was
usually
good,
it has
but
a really
the
vibrant blue color.
it could have just been
or
called
maybe a
like
black
Andrew
color.
identifying
Very
plants.
It's so funny because a lot of our
Something that usually
viewers,
seems
you know, every so often we'll just get
Mildly
comments like,
interesting.
oh, more plant ID, less plant ID.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what you want.
Continued on, and before long, we came to an unmarked.
I think on the whole, people like the plants ID. I mean, correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, the people who are watching this, but
Yeah, this whole trip,
One of these leads to
right from the get-go, it felt kind of like
like the sound of that.
not unplanned, but just kind of I didn't feel like we were in control the whole time of the trip. You know what I mean?
That is roughly east.
Yeah. Who planned the trip?
I
anyway?
think Andrew planned it.
Things up there. See those right there?
It's just that we really
Off in the distance right there?
weren't sure on exactly how much of the trail we wanted to do, because I think originally he wanted to do like a whole
I'm
loop.
wondering if these are just like
Oh, right. Yeah.
some sort of gate blocking.
Because I remember the
road over
second
there.
day we were
Might be some
trying to
sort of
go
access
all the
trail
way to
going
the end of the trail to see some sort of
Yeah.
rock formation.
4x4 on here or something.
Can't remember what it's called now, but we kind of cut that out of the episode. Or did we leave it in? I don't remember.
You know, I feel like this was definitely one of our less memorable trips because
Vehicle in here.
I definitely
for sure, yeah.
don't remember a lot about it. I think one of the things was that it was like a cold and a little bit rainy the next day, right? And then that was kind of like a big part of the decision that we didn't want to do the whole loop. Wow, that's so Morgan Monroe right there. I think that's why we got that
that's
shot, right?
exactly it.
Well, we found another
Yeah.
in the road.
It's funny we're doing callbacks to episodes that were just like a year or two ago. You know, actually, I remember just now. This is the first episode where we tried to hide all of the tripods and
Turned out the left
steady
Oh,
cam and
right,
camera
right.
equipment.
Brian had spotted some trailblazes that pointed us
'Cause, like,
downhill.
In that
meantime,
shot
Andrew
just
looked
now
at
where
a
it was
few
all
more
three of us walking
Brian was
and
just
Andrew was
pointing
in the
his
front, he
fuzzy
was
little
holding the
butt out.
steady cam right
Yeah,
in front of
yeah.
him,
Bitterness
so
degree.
you couldn't see it
Definitely
from
some sort of
behind.
degree. Some of the clues are the shape.
Which,
of
if you
the
pay
butt.
attention, his arms aren't moving.
But
That's
the-
why he's
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
all along this road here. Nice
And then
fun.
there was
Just
just
a
like
crazy
every time we
person.
set up a shot,
So
it'd be
weird
like,
seeing it in February.
can I just hold the tripod,
But I am
or do you want me to
excited
set it
for
down?
spring, so
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool looking spider. Yeah, you know, actually, I was just thinking when you said that this trip wasn't very memorable.
It was
I think
just a
another
short ways up
problem
the
was
trail
that
before we saw a
we
potentially
barely
suitable
covered
campsite.
any
Yeah.
distance.
All right, we're gonna see.
Like, you have to kind of cover a certain amount of distance to actually get some variety in what you see.
And we just,
But I mean, I was gonna say even more so than what we
Yeah,
usually
that's
do.
true.
This was a really short amount of hiking.
this campsite was
This is not bad.
like
It's not
partially good, but just so
but we could cook back
like
here.
we just settled on it so quickly because we were like, yeah, let's just set up camp.
Yeah.
set the tarp up right
Wait, this
here.
was with the big
Brian can set
storm.
his tent up right there.
So,
Oh yeah.
oh man, I was so confused because I was thinking the big
It was a
storm
bit
was,
cramped, but it was late at night, and there was enough room to eat
Monongahela.
and sleep. And so we got to work.
but it was. So I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
of the
there
right
were-
episode
yeah.
actually.
Oh. Well, I just remember after this episode, that's when. What was the next episode?
New River.
Wow,
I think.
maybe we should do a
Yeah.
little research next time.
I think New River was after this, right? It's got to be.
Okay, I think you're right, but
Tent as we
I
set
just
up our
remember
shelters.
after this episode, I was like, I'm bringing a tent. I've been rained on.
I was
about
gonna ask
tents.
you that because like every time I'm in a
the
tent
warm
and the
weather,
weather
I
is
jumped at
even
the chance to sleep
remotely
beneath my tent,
bad, I'm
where
just
I
like
could feel the
lying in
open
my tent thinking, oh god, I'm so glad I have a tent.
Well, it's funny too because we knew it was gonna rain. It wasn't one of those instances
After
where
all that,
we were
it was time for a
blindsided
simple
by it.
supper.
Like we fully expected it to rain. We just didn't know when it was.
Yeah,
gonna
I remember
happen.
talking about that before the trip because we were talking about how we expected there to be a storm. We just never realized how crazy it was gonna be.
The avocados are actually fairly ripe.
Yeah. I mean, it made it for a really
Oh
fun
yeah,
episode. But
for you guys.
yeah.
It's always great. Like I wonder how many episodes there are where you can just you're just filming yourselves and I'm yelling at you from my tent or something.
It's really reminiscent of Manitou
Yeah.
when we went there and Andrew was like in his tarp, just like. Especially seeing the footage later, I'm like, how did he not get wet? I don't understand.
Actually, on Manitou, I think halfway through the night, I had
Oh,
he had
right,
to-
yeah.
I made him come to my tent. This is sidetracking because we're talking about Manitou, but
Yeah.
since you had brought your then girlfriend on the trip,
Anyway, this is
you guys, I guess you guys borrowed my sleeping bag, and I was like, oh, the weather's so hot, I'm not gonna need my sleeping bag.
Oh, right,
But that
right,
storm
right.
cooled
Yeah.
the air down so much that I was literally woke up shivering, and I was like, Andrew, I need to share your sleeping bag. We got to do something.
It's too bad too, because I don't think we needed 2 sleeping bags. We would have been fine with one.
What are these? Tortillas. They're tail tortillas?
Yeah, I totally forgot that he went
Yeah.
into your tent. So this is like, it's one of those types of foods that Andrew like.
when I said
Like nobody would make this.
Yeah,
for
I know.
Andrew.
This is typical Andrew camping food. Like overly, like expend an extra amount of effort for
not a lot of outcome, you know.
I've always asked Andrew that. I'm like, why don't you just like prepare the dough beforehand and make it easier? And then he's like, oh well, I want to show like that you can do it all in the trip.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, yes, you technically can. You can do a lot of things technically.
Yeah.
Have you ever like that certain cultural foods kind of do seem like
It was pretty good though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just thinking about this today. Like some dude just
as far as not heated up beans and
I've
salsa.
pretty much decided at this point that I'm never gonna bring any sort of canned foods just because of the weight.
like a lot of Japanese food.
The weight, yeah. Well, actually something else I've
A ball of rice.
kind of want to do more of is use the little portable stove to actually cook hot stuff. Like
Yeah.
before we were always trying to. I mean, I don't know if you were like this, Brian, necessarily, but me and Andrew were definitely like this when we first started camping. We had this idea of like, oh, we got to do it like natural, and we got to cook everything over the fire. But then the more camping trips I've done, the more I'm just like, this is stupid. Like, there's no reason to make it harder on yourself when you have some good technology that's not like super invasive. Like just a little portable camping stove can make your life cooking when you're camping so much easier. Instead of putting it in the fire and burning it or undercooking
it's always like
it,
when it if you want to cook it in the fire, sure, do it when it's not going to be too much of a hindrance. But like, remember when you used to like try to heat up your water for your coffee in the fire? Man, just use a portable stove.
So annoying, and you get ash in it and everything. Yeah, just use a portable stove. Be done in 5 minutes. It's great.
I fell asleep for a little while.
Actually, I feel like that Japanese manga that we found at the bath resort when we were in Japan, and then I got.
Oh, you did? I
later.
didn't know that.
So
I want to read it.
Yeah, well, maybe it was after you guys left. It's not in English, but I got it with Michael. They do a really good job of showing how many different things you can cook with just one of those little stoves. Like they have like these little grill attachments, like you put a little grill thing on top of it and the fire goes through. And like she was cooking like this sandwich with like bacon and tomato in it. And I was just like, God, mouth watering.
I feel like at one point we should do a little research on what is practical to bring that would really expand our options when we're cooking and stuff. Which is funny though, because in this episode we actually went really extravagant with the food.
Winds meant it was just a matter of time.
Oh right, yeah.
While we were hiking.
So wait, was that meat in the cooler?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This whole time?
With like ice packs and stuff. Oh, I froze the meat prior to the
totally
trip.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We just need to go on another like Dolly Sod's winter sort of thing where we can bring anything.
No, I was just gonna say, watching this footage after the trip was so hilarious. Because I just had no clue as to how you guys were faring in that tarp.
Maybe we'll have to be in Brian's tent.
That would have been really funny though if it was all three of us in the tent.
What goes through your mind? Because most of the time when you guys are on camera, you seem pretty like positive about the whole situation. But I wonder if like secretly you're just thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna get wet and it's gonna suck tonight.
Actually, this is one of those times where real life was literally just perfectly captured on camera. So they're just laughing the whole time. It's like how stupid we are. It's also funny too because I think I mentioned it later, but I slept incredibly well. Like I was literally wet the whole night. Just my sleeping bag had somehow gotten out of the tarp, and it was just like completely soaked. And the whole night I was really warm, but I was still wet.
I feel like you're a really bad basis for like what will lead to a good night's sleep, because you just seem to randomly be like, oh, I had a really good night's sleep. Oh, I had a terrible night's sleep.
It's totally random.
Oh god. Okay.
That tarp isn't big enough for two people. I think that's the main thing.
Well, I'm gonna
like, if you want to not get wet, if you just want to pretend that it's giving you some protection and it's not raining, then it's fine for two people.
This will be a reverse way.
But it's not even a problem now because I've gotten
We're in sort of
a tent that's less than 2 pounds, so I don't mind.
Yeah, that's what me and Andrew were talking about, because I was planning the next trip, and I was like, "Do you think Robby's gonna bring us a tent?" I was like, "It's super light. He's probably gonna bring it, regardless of whether or not he plans on using it."
Oh yeah. Now, it's no question.
Wow.
This kind of things that we capture whenever it storms definitely leads to some of the most interesting footage.
We're live, and it's raining not too hard. Hoping that the storm is going to pass really quickly.
Well, I mean, it's a funny thing too because
What about you?
Yeah.
you don't really experience this in real life that much.
Yeah.
So it's a unique thing. Like, I mean, plenty of people have slept outside, but
Even
sleeping in a big thunderstorm.
yeah,
like
even
this.
even if they camp and it rains, it's usually not like as bad as
We're at your
this.
mercy.
Yeah.
That's not what it was like right above us.
I can't remember if I mentioned it in this episode, but it's definitely just like that episode of Malcolm in the Middle when they shoot that firework up. Have you seen that one? They find this like illegal firework that's like so powerful when it explodes, it literally like cuts to daytime.
They're like, "How do we know which one's the Komodo 3000?" And it just goes, "Oh shit!"
And they're blinded afterwards. Oh, side note. So my buddy Nate, he did the drums for this, and he actually was playing on snare drum, and he somehow modified his bass drum to be able to make it sound like a big booming bass
Oh, that's
drum.
cool.
The storm.
I never noticed that it sort of kind of like the bass drum sounded more like thunderous.
Yeah, the rain has stopped, actually.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't feel anything out there.
So he just used like a regular drum set bass drum, I think.
You can use this water to get the tomato paste in your hands.
This is just
I think we're safe to go to sleep then.
like, this is on retrospect watching this, I'm like, this is probably not the best viewing. This is literally a black screen. Well, I guess that effect is kind of cool.
Died down and then
Andrew looks like a 80s
peaceful for a while.
like punk from
Back up.
the Turtles movie or something.
I'm so tired that
It's okay, man. This is our neighborhood.
You know, there's a lot of scenes. When you guys are like sharing a tarp, there's a lot of scenes of you guys, and you'll always be there with your eyes closed and like talking. I'm just like, how does he manage to not be like? I feel like you're just trying so hard to fall asleep.
I think this will pass by.
I fell asleep pretty easily there, but look at the water rolling off
Yeah.
of the tarp there.
Yeah.
You see that? Andrew covered it as soon as I said it, but. Oh, we kept back there? That was weird. Yeah, so I woke up first and I was literally just like, I couldn't wait to get up because I was just like, God, is it soaked?
It's so funny because that's one thing that we'll never really be able to capture in our episodes is just the actual transition from something like that to morning. Because when you watch it, it's like it's so awful. Then, bam, suddenly it's daylight and you're like, oh, all relieved. But when you're actually in that storm, you're lying there for hours and just like awake and you're just like, oh, what time is it? Oh, it's 4 a.m.
20 or
I'll fall asleep. You're like, wake up. What time is it? 5 a.m. Oh, God.
I think that's kind of what Michael's experience was in the Japan
Yeah.
episode.
Although the
he was
storm
just
had
like
passed
waking up
and the
constantly because
sun
it was
was
so
shining
cold.
Yeah,
The morning air was
Yeah,
freaking.
Yeah, in hindsight, that probably wasn't
Even
the
with the
best way
rain, we
to
had fallen asleep
inaugurate him
warm and
into
comfortable.
camping.
But now we were shivering.
There really wasn't much choice. Somebody's got a sheet
Yeah,
thing there. Did you see that?
So I
didn't
put
even notice
both
that
my
before.
boots under like the little, I don't know, the part that sticks out in front of the door.
Awning?
Yeah, awning.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they were literally sitting right next to each other, and one was completely wet inside, and the other one was dry. So, in an effort to
Oh,
dry
that's
my
weird.
boot, I took the little padding out to let it dry on the sun, and then I was like wiping the inside of my
Dude,
boot
that's
with a
super
t-shirt.
weird, man. Did like a goblin like put it outside and then put it back in before morning?
I don't know. I was so confused because normally you'd think that if one of your boots was wet and the other one was dry, that there was some water just dripping directly into it. But it didn't look like that was the case.
Like, wait a minute.
It's so weird.
Like my whole back was wet. And I don't know how that happened.
It was really weird. Man, I stayed dry somehow.
I was looking at this little setup here after you guys set your tarp up.
Yeah, it's
that
like
looks
in a
kind of like a
creek.
natural river formation.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah, this
We're
must have been
blocking
like
all
in
the water
February
flow.
or
Yeah.
March, because I remember it. Oh, that's right. It was super unseasonably warm the day we got
Yeah.
there.
Head out on the trail.
And then today, this day, it was colder. And then the next day, it was like actually legitimately cold.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Oh, I remember this song. This song, I was specifically trying to make a song that doesn't sound like one of my normal songs. So I looked up some jazz chords and I was trying to make it sound like a jazz song. In the end, I think it's still, you could definitely tell I wrote
It was
it.
good to get moving and warm our bodies up.
I definitely
I think-
strayed farther than my
Yeah,
usual.
it definitely is different from your typical stuff, but I think it's easy to tell it's yours not because of the way it sounds, but because of the way me and Andrew's stuff sounds.
Along the trail,
Oh,
Andrew spotted a few notable plants.
So here we've got a vine plant. It's got some tiny thorns on it and these little
Oh, right.
tendrils
This is
on it
where
that
we
grab
found a
onto
really nice campsite.
and these really
After
distinct
Oh,
heart-shaped
yeah,
Went
yeah.
just a little bit up
parallel
ahead.
veins. This is
I think
the
we were-
genus Smilax.
That would have been great the night
Actually, I don't
before.
know if
But
it's Smilax or Smilax, but this particular one has red spots on it. I'm not actually.
You're saying
sure
what?
why.
No, I was gonna say something, but I don't know if we're
You'll see
talking
this
about the same
growing a
campsite,
lot,
so
like, even
I'll
in
wait
the
and
cold
see.
season, it'll still be green.
oh, okay. Yeah.
It's good to know.
Although
For some reason, I
Smilax
just
vines are
watched
often
part of this
tough and
episode
thorny.
the other day. I
In
don't
the
know
warm
why.
season, their tender growing apex is edible when boiled. Nearby, we also saw some striped wintergreen, which is said to
Oh,
have
I was gonna
various
say that that's
medicinal
mint.
properties.
But green. It's related, I guess.
They're both minty. Oh yeah, we walked by that campsite, and there's like poop right on the
Yeah,
trail
further
too,
down,
right?
We saw some fungi too.
This
Wasn't
is called
there?
hexagonal pored polypore.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Geometric pores.
Oh, this is
where all the spores
the.
come out of.
You'll see
Yeah,
this
imagine they
mushroom
just grow on
in
this dead
the
wood
High
and
Banks
usually the
video
branches
whenever we
just fall
finally
off.
release
That's why
that.
you find them on the ground so much.
Andrew identified it there.
It's a really nice specimen.
Andrew was a mushroom newbie back
Hopefully
then.
because of the rain. We'll find some more mushrooms.
If you think about how long ago that video
At High
was,
Banks?
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Speaking of
Holy
the devil,
crap, that was
Bryan
1 year
Lin,
ago.
Whittier's.
No, 2 years ago.
And
2 years ago.
it's
Holy
really
moly.
fun. You can see why it's called that. These are edible, and I think.
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
we're
we
gonna
saved
some of
these.
and cook later.
So is wood ear like typically a Chinese food mushroom?
Yeah.
Or is it they use it all over the place?
Well, I've always known it to be. I've was always associated with it as
coral
like
fungus. Obviously,
a
there's
mushroom
coral
used in
fungus.
a
Yeah, me
lot of
too.
Asian
Me too.
dishes.
They've got these sort of toothy looking pores where.
Because I remember like just
These
growing
spores
up, my
come
dad
out.
would eat it
Yeah.
all the time with
that
different
color.
foods and stuff.
The fungus
I
is
feel
actually
like
called the coral pink
It's a kind of
marulates,
food
and
that
its pore surface
a
is
lot
actually
of
a series
people
ridges
who
of
didn't know it
folds.
was edible would stray away from just because of the way it looks.
Yeah.
We continued on the trail and stumbled across a nice-looking campsite.
Yeah,
albeit
this
with
is
some
the
precarious
campsite.
looking dead wood hanging overhead.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
I wonder if those things fell over in the storm.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that's why we didn't find the campsite, because that would have been terrible. That trail was
Just
pretty
downhill
well
from the
maintained.
campsite,
I don't know
we
how
got to
well
see something
traveled it is,
Really fascinating.
but it wasn't like Tea Creek.
Oh,
where
yeah.
It was
If I recall
just
correctly, it's called Calistoma.
completely
That
overgrown.
But it's,
mushroom.
like, very phallic shaped. And I say that because there's an actual genus of mushrooms called.
There's so much
phallus.
commentary you could make about
But
that
this is
mushroom,
actually
but
not
we'll
in there.
refrain.
It's
The
got this, like, long sort
it's
of
funny though. I will say though that
spongy
if
shaft
you're
with
going to
this
Red River Gorge, don't go to
poofy
Clifty
thing with
Wilderness
spores
first.
in it.
Go there after
Looks
you've
like
exhausted.
it's out of
Well,
spores now.
you know, I say that, but we
This-
didn't
this
really
looks like
explore that
something-
much of it. So maybe it gets more
An
amazing.
alien
Yeah,
later.
if the
But
weather
Red
had
River
been
Gorge just
better
has so many
and we had
awesome
had
things.
more time,
It's so
I bet it would have been better. Because then we would have like if it was warmer, we could have swam in the river and think. Oh, you guys actually did swim in the river on the
yeah.
last day, right? Yeah.
It was cold. We swam. You know,
We hiked down some
quotation
steep
marks.
slopes, and soon there was fascinating geology to complement the flora.
Those are cool. Yeah, those rocks are very characteristic of Red River.
I was just
Gorge.
thinking that you could probably show that picture of those rocks to like some natives.
Although these sandstone
native
structures are found throughout the
Red
eastern
River's
US,
in what, Virginia?
they never fail to impress us. Especially when they're
Kentucky.
covered
Yeah,
in
and
plant
then
life
I'm
and
sure
the
they'd be
colorful
like, oh, that's
palette
Red
of
River
lincoln.
Gorge.
Yeah. Probably just anybody who's even been to Red River Gorge before.
While admiring the rocky bluffs, we decided to have a snack, provided to us by our buddy.
That's kind of a cool transition. Oh yeah, these
were
things.
really good.
They were really tasty and an excellent hiking.
God, those are good. Who was it?
Yeah.
Tim Lawson? Yeah, because he gave us something else at the same time that we tried in New River Gorge. Those were delicious, dude. They were like, kind of like a peanut buttery energy bar, basically.
A bit further down, I spotted evidence
A lot
of
of
a
sugar
familiar tree.
and chocolate.
This, ooh, it's really sucking.
No, I think I might have lost
This
Bryan.
prehistoric looking, I don't know how you even describe it, but this is the seed pod of a magnolia tree.
Okay, so we're back. We had some
And as
technical
you see,
difficulties.
plenty of
Hopefully that
these
wasn't too
huge
jarring.
leaves right here.
Uh,
I mean, this looks like something that came from the age of the dinosaur, you know?
I think we were just talking about the energy
So,
bars that Tim Lawson
especially the
gave us. They
texture.
were
Yeah.
delicious. They tasted
Stem
peanut
down here.
buttery.
Yeah, it looks like an egg.
Yeah.
What were you doing back there?
It's like
I
a
ate-
sushi
My
egg.
face
I think I was just standing there, just looking around.
As the rain was, this trail served as a reminder that water creates
That was
beauty,
really funny.
whether it be the magnificent cliffs or the life teeming in the soil below.
Yeah, there is a lot of
We actually
identification in this video.
Beautiful oyster mushrooms. It's one of the grayer varieties.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like this whole
Exactly what
trail.
those
I think.
But you do tend to see these like around
Well, I
this time
think
of year,
yeah, there was
even
just
without
no
the
like really
unusual warm
offshoots
weather
to
we've been
explore or
having.
anything
Got
like
all the
that. So.
characteristic
Yeah.
gills and it's a
kept-
very beautiful specimen, but it's so small
What are those?
and we've eaten
wasn't
some already.
listening.
I think I'm just gonna leave it there.
I think they might have been oyster mushrooms.
Okay, because that's what I was gonna guess. Which in New River Gorge we gorge on those.
Hello.
No.
It's like
Allegheny,
water
right?
dripping into this hole here. It must continue.
Allegheny.
Yeah,
Yep, you're right.
And
We
it
also
was
had those
water
at
that created the
Manitou.
Perfect habitat for critters like this
Wow,
eastern
that's
newt.
really cool. It's so funny that like lizards and stuff like that just live out there. I mean, it's a pretty incredibly obvious thing to say, but
Yeah, but you don't see them so often that when you do, you're just kind of amazed.
yeah.
The trail wound
It's like the other
downward
day,
past
a praying
rhododendrons
mantis
and
was in my
moss-covered
backyard that
boulders,
was like
before finally
almost
revealing
6
a trail
inches
nose.
long, and I literally saw its shadow as it flew through the air, which I didn't even know praying mantises could fly.
Yeah.
It scared me.
Junction. That's good to know.
Also, this shot we actually used a wireless microphone,
Mark Bridge.
but I don't know where we put the
that's this one.
microphone.
Yeah, that one. Headed
You
down
mean
that
the
coming
wireless
back.
road?
Yep, this is where we'll be coming back.
Yeah,
Huh.
that was
So we
pretty sure.
We hit it pretty well, I guess.
I'm guessing it's behind that sign on the
We'd
right.
originally planned
Yeah.
on seeing a landmark called the Rock Bridge.
Okay,
It
yeah,
was like
this
too
is
far off of a hike.
Yeah,
for
we
the
did
amount of
mention
time
it.
we had.
What do you think? Yeah, let's just go.
Rock Bridge was all the way at the end of this trail.
We decided to hike towards it and play things by ear.
Yeah, I think
It
we
was
were
already
all.
looking pretty
Either way,
likely we weren't
there
going
was
to make
plenty
it.
of beautiful
Yeah.
sights to see just from our trail. We came to a rock shelter with a trickling waterfall.
Yeah, this place is pretty cool too.
It was a nostalgic sight.
We commented on how
reminiscent
that
of our
was.
first camping trip at Hocking
Yeah,
Hills,
Hocking Hills
but
is like a
never-
mini. I don't even
And of
remember
course,
the cave,
with the water
unfortunately.
comes more mushrooms.
I
to
think
the
that's Old Man's Cave.
So all along the
Old
side
Man's
we've
Cave?
got these
No, Ash
edible
Cave.
slimy
Ash
holes.
Cave.
They're a
yeah,
little
yeah.
Too slimy right now, maybe.
Yeah, Ash Cave's the one that's
This is butter.
humongous, right?
I've seen it
Yeah.
several times before, actually. But here we have something called Deadly Gallerina. It's got a really nice.
Yeah, you know, that's
round
kind of
path.
like what
It's poisonous.
Ohio and the
Couldn't tell from the
Midwest,
name,
just
Deadly
that kind
Gallerina.
of, this type
But
of
it's actually a
backpacking, I
lookalike
feel
to
like
an
is,
edible fungus that grows around this
like
time
its
called
most
Bryan
characteristic
Lin,
feature is having those
also known
big
as
rock
golden needle.
type of formations
So,
in a
Yeah.
golden
forest.
needle mushroom gets its name because when you buy it in
As far as I know, that's not anywhere else, but
kind of gold mushroom.
Yeah,
super
like
When it grows in the wild, it
a lot of
looks very
places
different.
like
There's
Zaleski
just a few key
and stuff.
differences.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
felt sort of like
The
that.
edible one has no ring on the stem.
Zaleski,
like
Hocking
and
Hills,
at the bottom of the edible mushroom
Red River
stem,
Gorge.
you see like
Yeah.
a black velvety portion of it. So yeah, don't get them confused.
We also saw this
I don't
beautiful
remember, did
orange
Wayne
crowded
have
parchment
rocks
mushroom.
like that?
Staring
Wayne National Forest?
Wayne might have, but I think since we were hiking around the lake,
Just like
it was
wherever
less
the water
of a
turns
chance
to
of
flow,
running into those kind of formations.
Yeah.
We continued along rough, muddy trails and spotted a small offshoot from the trail.
Was this the first time you
Decided to
used that new
investigate it in
backpack?
hopes of
The
finding
red
a
one?
campsite.
I think so, yeah.
What
Wow.
prompted
Oh,
you
you
to
know-
get the new one anyway?
Instead, we found a rock
Oh,
on
well-
the
Go
ahead,
road
sorry.
with
Yeah,
someone's
not
old
important.
litter set.
I think we might have covered this once in a podcast, but or maybe in a gear video, but
The river itself
in
was
the
beautiful,
Dolly Sods winter,
but with how fast it was moving,
a rat
we
had
suspected
chewed
it
a
may have
hole,
been
or a
partly
little field mouse
responsible
had
for
chewed a
the
hole in my
refuse that was left
backpack.
behind.
I always forget that. Yeah.
Set up here, and maybe the water
this
got
is so
really high and
confusing.
they just, like, kind of abandoned it.
Yeah, because there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was disappointing to see
Like-
such a beautiful place tarnished by someone's trash.
Who would leave that much
tried to make
stuff
the
there?
best
I
of
don't understand. Especially that bow. You look like you could be in like a Chinese movie of like a
I was trying to make it look like,
Like a
Robin
temple.
Hood's hat.
Carrying the litter that we found up onto the trail. We didn't
like
have
a
any room
temple
to store
has
in our
like to
packs,
fight off
but at least
invaders or
Yeah.
something.
someone could find it and hike it out, and it wouldn't get swept away by the river.
And with that, we continued on in search for a campsite.
Oh,
This
that
feels a
shot
lot
right
like,
there, that's the
Smokies,
Steadicam
too.
upside down. Yeah, especially with
And
those.
along the way,
Are
we
they
spotted these
rhododendrons? Those
strange-looking
plants
Yeah,
with the long
the
leaves?
rhododendrons.
Okay, yeah. That's super smoky-ish.
Yeah.
Smoky.
Amid the shelter of some large boulders, we decided to take a quick
If
look.
you-
Oh, okay.
Wow, it's funny. As soon as you
Huh?
stop,
I was just saying,
Go ahead.
when I watch these videos, it seems like we're taking breaks and like putting it, like stopping all the time.
5 or 10.
Like, well, time to take a break.
You know, I kind of wonder.
And I hope we find
So
campsites.
there's a YouTuber named Tim Watson. He does lots of hiking videos.
The trail took us
All of
up
those
onto
things.
a ridgetop.
He does all of
We're
those
standing
things in his
along more
videos. But
sandstone
anyways, he
bluffs.
was talking on one of his live streams about how many miles he does every day. And he says a typical day is 10 to 15 miles. And I know we film a lot, so it's hard to get that many miles, but I wonder if we would be less tired if we stayed moving more and, and really got like a rhythm going, which I don't think we'll ever be able to do just because of how much we have to stop.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's part of why we're so tired is
We came
because
to a
we stop and
particularly
start,
large
stop
bluff.
and start.
I guarantee it
You
is
never develop a
because,
rhythm.
We saw
like,
another
I could
path shooting
walk
off of the trail and
2 or
decided
3
to check for
miles.
a workable campsite.
Without even giving it a second thought. Of course, I guess I
Right,
wouldn't be carrying
yeah.
a backpack, but still, it's like once you kind of get into that. Well, you know how when you run and stuff, there's this period of where you
that's what I was talking
just keep thinking to yourself, man, I just want to stop running. But then you kind of get into that zone and you just keep running.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's kind of like that with hiking, where it gets to a point where you don't even think about it and you just walk and you hike and you hike.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
a little bit slanted, and there's probably not enough room for a tent. And
So I went camping for the first time in
the sun came out. I think that's a good
21
sign.
trips where I didn't have to film.
And so,
And that was
How
just
did that
with my
feel?
brother and my nephew. Well, we didn't do that much hiking because we were with my brother's kid who's only like 5 years old, so he can't walk that far anyway. But I do remember one time I went to Morgan Monroe
we were just about
just
to
by
reach a steep
myself,
uphill when we saw another
and I
path moving
hiked,
through the thickets of rhododendrons.
about 10 miles, I think, all in one go.
Yeah.
And it felt great. Like, it wasn't even so much like, I mean, I wasn't wearing a
Whoa,
pack or
we
anything,
found
but
it.
it felt like that's a much more,
Yeah, this is it.
ironically, easier way to hike
This even
is
has
to
a
just
trail
go,
going
go,
down, so
go.
it's definitely
Yeah.
a campsite of some sort. That's helpful too because
I
we were
honestly
just
feel
about
like
to
I
to
get
another uphill section.
Tired just because of the whole stopping and standing around a lot. It could be
Yeah,
partially
standing
due-
around, yeah.
Because it's like your feet get tired when you're standing there, but you're not making any progress. So it's like
Yeah.
Doubly
yeah.
bad.
One of the best campsites we've ever had.
This campsite was awesome.
Oh my God, this was a good campsite, dude.
We've got a little dining area all set up for us.
I love campsites
It was a
right
good
next
thing
to
we
the
hadn't
water.
settled earlier,
Mhm.
because this was a fantastic
That's so much
campsite.
fun.
This was some prime real estate. With a luxurious view
This
of the
was some
river,
prime rib.
boulders that looked like castle ruins from a fantasy novel.
So that
the best
water,
part
we should
was,
probably say,
all
wasn't
practically
quite
free.
as like brown, like that really caramel color,
But
you
you
know?
can't just
Yeah.
fall into the lap of
That
luxury without some
we add
delicious food.
saturation to all of our videos,
Got a really
so
good meal.
people
prepared
often
for these
wonder
guys
about
tonight,
that.
But it needs
Wasn't
a little
that-
preparation. So things around are good.
Wasn't that nuclear looking, you know?
This one will keep a little bit.
We actually need to hang on to these.
So Andrew and I had actually been talking for a while about doing this setup to cook the shish kebabs, which was 2 Y sticks and then kind of like putting the shish kebabs over them.
Yeah.
It just so happened that the fire pit was kind of like weirdly shaped. It was like a really big fire pit, so it was really hard to actually
Yeah, because you had
place
to have
them
such a
properly.
long
Yeah.
stick to go over it.
You aren't supposed to cut any living wood, but you do often stumble across some that's been cut down by other campers or knocked over by strong winds.
And I guess
If that's the case,
we
you might
mentioned
as well
this in
put
the
it to
video,
good
but I
use.
don't know if it was ever really that clear. But all this wood that we're cutting, even though it's green wood, it was stuff that we found on the ground. And I think we suspected that it had gotten knocked over in the storm.
It's funny because like the way the narration, it goes out of its way so much to mention, by the way, this is green wood. We didn't cut this down ourselves.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like we just like are faking it,
preparing all
but it
that,
actually
it's
was
time to
just
get the
green
fire
wood
started.
that we just
Yeah.
found.
And I think it's important
Oh,
to
that's where this
definitely note
song
that.
comes from.
Wait. I've heard this song so many times now. Was this in the water rafting video?
I don't know. I
I feel like I've heard it really recently.
Must have been the rafting video.
You know, I feel like in this episode, watching Andrew do the feather sticking and everything, it feels like it was a long
And while I
time,
prepared some
or it
timber
had
and
been a long
kindling,
time before we got a
Bryan
really good
continued on
fire
with his
starting
culinary machinations.
montage in an episode.
Bell peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Because we used to
Yeah.
focus on that a lot,
See that.
because Andrew loved doing the feather sticking and everything.
Side note, I actually recently learned how to properly cut a bell pepper.
Oh man, I'm just trying to remember where I learned how to do this. And it was from you in this episode.
Perfect piece of bell pepper.
Dude, have you ever heard or seen the YouTube channel Binging with Babish?
Yeah, I watch a lot of his videos.
So I just started watching his videos like literally 2 or 3 days ago, but he posted a basics to cooking video today.
Mhm.
And this is kind of completely off topic, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. He was talking about cutting boards, and he has a cutting board that has like a rubber bottom, so it doesn't slide around on the table.
Yeah.
Want some nice
And it's
That
like-
is like, I'm going to get one of those immediately.
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
sick of my cutting board just sliding everywhere.
It's just like, you think when you realize it,
go?
you're just like, why doesn't my cutting board have a rubber bottom?
Yeah, why doesn't every cutting board
Yeah.
have that?
That's another thing I saw.
So in the past,
I
you've
was
seen
at,
me use my ferro rod and
of all
my
places,
knife over here
IKEA. And
strike sparks
they
and
had a
start a
cutting
fire.
board.
Occasionally,
IKEA keeps getting name dropped in all of our commentary.
Is not sharp enough. I need
Well, they
to
had
good.
like this
That's
kitchen
this.
set up, and one of the cutting
sharpen
boards
up
they
on the
had
back. It's a cheap knife.
had a
I can
little
sharpen the edge anytime.
lip on it,
But
so that when you put it on
just for
the
you,
table,
we have
like the lip
this
would catch
beautiful,
on the edge of the
beautiful
table, so that it
giant
wouldn't
ferro
move
rod
around when you were like using it.
striker.
Oh.
It's
It's like,
wow, that's just like the really smart idea that so
Yeah,
obvious,
here's a
but
note, so
nobody would really think
I'm
of.
gonna read the note really quick. Andrew,
Yeah.
truly love your videos on Adventure Archives. I watched you use a ferro rod many
Yeah,
times,
like,
and
there's
I
so
wanna
many
give you a
things
beauty.
in life
This
in
is a beauty.
general that are just
This
like
rod is from Nathan407
slapped
on
together,
YouTube/eBay.
and at some
The
point
best.
you have to
I
be
made
like,
the
okay, I'm
handles for you
tired
out
of dealing with this
Enjoy it.
problem.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
want a
enjoy
real
Louisiana
solution to this.
fat
And like a
wood.
cutting board,
Yes,
that's a
fat wood.
perfect example.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Ernie Garcia.
I need a cutting board with some rubber feet.
So
It
for
won't
those of
move
you who
around.
don't know,
And it's
fat
funny
wood
'cause
is
I guess we're going really off on
Wood
this
from a-
cutting board thing.
some sort of conifer tree with
It's
lots
like
of resin in it,
a cutting board is the
I
kind
really
of thing.
like the vest.
super flammable. So
It's like a cutting
This is
board
a
has
great way
been
to get the
probably
fire
for ages and ages
on
just a
a wet day
slab
such
of
as
wood
this.
that you cut things on. And I guess nobody ever
Yeah.
really thought like, how can we improve this? It's like, why improve on something that's so simple?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
finally, when people get around to improving it, they're like, oh, well, this is kind of nice actually.
that
Yeah.
stuff just
That was a great
Oh,
fire starting.
you know, I'm pretty sure that this fire did not stay lit. I'm fairly certain he had to do it again, and we just didn't show
Oh, I don't remember. I do remember having a hard time
it.
keeping
That
the
seems
fire
impossible,
going.
though, looking at this right now.
Yeah. I think it wasn't that. It was just that we
I-
kept struggling to find dry wood. So the fire, it wouldn't go out completely, but the flames would go out, and we'd have to restart like it from the embers.
While Andrew tends to the fire over there, I'm gonna start skewering.
Well, it's too bad Andrew's not here because I'm like, in fact, maybe if you can get him real quick, because I'm like 90% certain that fire went out. That's okay. We'll let
Seems my skewer's
let
a
that be
little large.
lost to the annals of history.
That will make do.
I didn't realize just how much I had brought until I started making these skewers.
Got a lot of meat, so I'm gonna eat good tonight.
So is this the song? Yeah, this is the song that has the Monster Hunter cooking song in it, right?
Yeah.
This would usually
There's
be
actually a
where we put some
blooper where
compelling
we're singing it.
philosophy. But today, we simply provide you with gratuitous
Yeah. Oh,
content
yeah,
of
yeah.
spit-roasted
So if you
kebabs.
watch the bloopers of this episode, you can see.
Yeah. And I guess for
Bryan
those who
singing
aren't
this.
into video games, Monster Hunter is a video game.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is a game where you put this big slab of meat on a spit, and then your character's sitting there doing rotisserie, and like you have to like lift it up right at the right time, and it's timed with the song. It's really funny. Man, those are really good, dude. Took a while to cook them, but
It was worth
turned
it.
out quite well.
It's pretty hard to beat
Yeah.
this when it comes to food cooked at a campsite. It's a dish that
We
seems
actually
at
did a good
once
job of
both
cooking them
primal
all the way too.
Yeah.
and gourmet.
Like it wasn't like raw.
You guys ready?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Andrew had a good line of narrative in there where he said it's like both at once, like luxurious but also primal.
Yeah.
First piece of meat.
Some good writing.
And it's so true too, because it's like typically this would be considered like a really good meal on a camping trip, but cooking meat on a stick over a fire is like about as basic as you can get in most cases.
That's true, yeah.
Natural beef. What kind of meat?
Oh, you had recently gotten your braces, right? No?
This was probably like about 5 months or 4 months into my braces and my gum surgery.
I gotta work.
So would that still be difficult for you to do now, to eat that meat?
No, I can eat everything normally now. In fact, I'm getting my braces off in like 2 weeks.
Gotta
So
get below the smoke.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's great.
These are so good.
That's actually, that's funny. We talk about that because
I guess that
that's why Andrew's not here, right? He's wearing his retainer.
Yeah.
And it hurts really bad or something.
yeah, he hasn't worn his retainer for a long time apparently, so he needs to wear it so that he can move the teeth back. But
meat from the fire.
it
I'll give you a
hurts.
super Reader's Digest version of what happened to me. I didn't wear my retainer for a long time. I went to the orthodontist, said, "Can I still wear it?" They said yes. 2
after
days
that,
later, I
we took
broke
the
it.
Whittier mushrooms
Then
and
I
mixed them with whatever
super glued
leftovers
it
we
back
had.
together. Went back to the orthodontist one more time. They said you can keep wearing it. Then it hurt too badly, and then I said, "I'm never wearing this thing again." And I haven't worn it since.
So you're just
While we waited
And
for
my
most of
bottom,
it, I had one more treat
It's-
for the
I'm
evening.
my
just thinking
bottom
of that
teeth have
Simpsons
definitely gotten
scene.
crooked again.
Episode. Cup noodles were so
I'm just thinking of
good.
that Simpsons scene where they're talking to the
Decided that
dentist. And they're
we
like,
need to
"Here's
have it
Lisa 1 year from now. Here's Lisa 6 years from now."
Oh man, yeah, that's pretty much gonna be my fate. I'm okay with that though. I never
We
have
should
to wear that.
we should
thing
definitely
again
bring
when I think
ramen on
about
the
it.
next trip.
Yes, ramen is a
The rest
must,
of the
dude.
food was cooked,
That's
and we
another
got
one of
ready
those
for round
things
two
that
by the toasted
like,
fire.
I was against bringing when I first started. Like, I hate
We'll just start in order.
that
Here you go, shrimp.
that
Time for some
human
chopsticks.
tendency to be like a hipster. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where you gotta I gotta do it primal. Oh no, I gotta do it the natural way. Like I'm against all of this technology and civilization.
But there's a reason
And I
why
just-
like it's so recommended, or what I guess like suggested, because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
works really well.
It's great. Dude.
Speaking of which,
I'm tired of.
I have
I like to take the good things from civilization and nature now.
Yeah.
I don't exclude.
Yeah, we've got some Whittier, which
speaking of
is a
which,
classic ingredient with ramen.
myhikes.org,
See how it is.
he sent us some like a box of ramen, cup noodle ramen. So
Oh,
I've
sweet.
got some that I can bring with us.
Awesome.
How do you like the Whittier?
Yeah, Scott Koenig. He brought it. He sent us he went to the Nishing ramen factory in Japan. He lives in Japan and sent us like a box of ramen.
Yeah,
From
I still
there.
got a few of those too.
Great.
So
Those veggies are actually tender.
Yeah, we gotta bring those.
I gotta have like a whole night of ramen.
Look at the view, too.
That's a very typical shot
This is more
of Adventure
luxurious.
Archives. It's all three of us
Most restaurants.
sitting there.
I definitely
off into
remember
the
being
distance.
really cold
With
this
our
day.
bellies full, we relaxed.
It doesn't.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
seem to come through nearly as much in the video, but I do remember
No.
just thinking about being miserably cold. I think it was just because we didn't expect it and we were a little underprepared.
It was a chilly night.
Yeah,
But good conversations and camaraderie.
The
have a
next
way of
day
pushing
got
discomfort
even
to the back of
colder. It
one's
was
mind.
crazy.
But the sun was out, which was nice.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, it was probably colder
Cold
this
air,
night, wasn't
the
it?
wane
I
of
think
light,
this day was
and the
definitely the
ever-shifting
coldest.
Fire reminded us to, once in a while,
I don't know. I guess we'll
bit of
see when we
mindfulness.
see what kind of
be aware of our
clothes we're wearing.
surroundings and all the sensations we
Yeah.
experienced, and to even appreciate.
Well,
the
I do
ups and
remember
downs that
I
go
was
with
really glad I brought my like underlayer tights.
Mhm.
Like sometimes I don't bring those if I know it's gonna be warm enough. But I had a feeling it could be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's important to stay in the moment and to remember that every
Robbie, you're like
whether the pleasurable warmth
it's like
of the
you need
fire,
to absorb the
biting
heat of the
cold
fire
beneath his breath is an
to
aspect
like
of being alive.
sustain yourself.
I'll wither away.
And it's through mindfully experiencing these things that we grow in mind, body.
Now you can see my wet clothes hanging there.
Oh yeah, man, that is a good time lapse.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
cow. Wow, a lot of stars, man. I mean, obviously we weren't able to see that many, but the camera could see more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the morning. Obviously, 3 miles hiked.
Yeah. 38 degrees.
Day
Fahrenheit.
3,
Wow.
3 miles hiked. Wow, dude.
That shot of Andrew, I was trying to edit it into a Pokemon battle scene where he was a little Metapod.
Oh man, I gotta play Pokemon at some
It
point.
had been a frigid night, and the rising sun, beautiful as it was, did little to warm us up.
Oh, it's so funny now that I'm watching this again. All these like things I am remembering are rushing back to me. Like I remember walking all the way, like walking down the shore to the sun and just standing there for like 5 minutes just so it could be warm.
Yeah, we did do that, didn't
Yeah.
we?
Hit a joint. Hit a joint.
Oh, maybe this was what you're
Oh,
thinking.
so I was saying, no, maybe, but I'm pretty sure the night before. Anyway, I was saying Tinder joint
At the
there
behest of
because
Robby, I heard Lee got
beforehand I was like, look, we're freezing.
long,
We don't
it
have
was
time for you to
breakfast
mess around trying to get this started naturally. Let's just get it started as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Oatmeal square.
Was that cheese?
Sardines cooking on the fire.
Oh, it was, yeah.
And of course,
Oh, it was?
we didn't bring cups, so we used these pour-over packets like tea bags instead.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. Thirsty. That's actually not bad.
I really need a checklist. I've tried to make a checklist before, but invariably I forget to put things on the checklist. So even if I check the checklist,
and we
it
wandered
doesn't
down
help.
the riverbank to feel its warm embrace.
Oh yeah, this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely beautiful morning. The sunshine shimmered off of the river's surface, and all the plant life glowed in its light.
I wonder just how much time we spent there just trying to warm up. Because I feel like the
I don't
rest of
know,
the
I feel
hike
like it was
was
a while.
fairly comfortable.
I cannot believe we only hiked 3 miles. Like that is like
This was the kind of morning that
beyond
you experience
hilarious even
fully
for us.
Yeah, yeah.
3
unimpeded by
miles.
the usual stresses or anxieties of society.
I do.
Which means we hiked 3 miles this day too.
Yeah.
Between
I
the
mean, I do
fire,
know,
the sun,
do
and
remember
coffee,
that when we
felt
found this
warm and ready
campsite,
to break
we were
camp.
just like, yeah, we're just going to stop here because we're not going to find anything better. And we had at that point already decided
yeah.
we were going to turn around, so.
Somehow,
Were you
it felt
inspired by
appropriate
something for this
that
song?
We were experiencing the last bout of winter on our last day.
Did I write this song?
It
It
sounds
seemed
like.
the season still had some bite left. As for us, we had a bit of a hike.
Yeah, I
ahead of us.
probably did.
Yeah, it sounds
But
more
yeah,
like
it
yours
does
than
sound
yours.
like
One
something.
of my socks was a bit ill-suited.
That
for the
melody
journey
sounds
ahead.
like something I've heard before.
Yeah.
How many socks have we burned in the fire trying to do exactly that?
I don't know, but a decent amount.
Andrew's knee pads crack me up
Now,
every
for
time.
some-
dude.
But first, I wanted to search around the
It's like my
campsite
knees are
outside
cold. So instead of wearing
Interesting
another
points.
like layer of pants or
This here's
I mean, I guess it
case
makes
of
sense
fern,
because
which we
you
actually
cut
saw
down on
in
weight, but it's
Allegheny.
still hilarious.
We've got more of these partridge berry vines. And this is rattlesnake plantain here. You see it's got these veins and this really interesting pattern. And this little seed pod is why it's called the rattlesnake plantain. Oh, look, you can actually see smoke coming off.
Oh, that's cool. I don't remember that.
You know, one thing I've never known.
Wintergreen here.
Does
Finally, an old
Andrew,
classic
the first time he's
wood
seen
source
these plants in
growing out of
real
this box
life,
here.
is that while he's out hiking? Like on these trips?
And with that,
No,
Or
I think
has he seen them before?
Well, maybe in real life, yes, but I feel like sometimes he does a little.
It was a short.
He
but
he
steep
likes
hike
to
back
do a
the
little
trail.
research on native plants before we go somewhere.
No, I know he does that. That's what I was wondering though. Is this the first time he's seen it in real life?
It's possible, yeah. Although, like you said, this is part of Red River Gorge, so technically we have been here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So some of the stuff is probably similar.
That's a cool shot.
Yeah.
Those type of shots where it's on the ground, but somehow we still come into view. Those are very unique. It's like you don't often get to see stuff like
Yeah.
that.
we continued on, passing by the huge rocky bluffs that we had seen the previous day.
Oh, you know, I wonder if the fact that we only did 3 miles was in part because we hid the tripod and stuff.
Yeah,
was more
we did a lot of
getting the cameras out
extra.
of the way.
Tangles
Yeah.
of trees, and soon the trail took us higher up. And
Well, that's okay. We already abandoned that anyways. It doesn't make that much of a difference for the video.
Yeah. So I think,
You can tell my backpack wasn't that full.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think we stopped at another campsite, right, on the way back.
Yeah, because this is where we did the swimming.
Okay.
Somewhere up ahead.
before long, we had returned to the.
Now, if
trail
anybody was wondering,
and stopped
Oh,
for a
that's
snack.
that bow and arrow and all that stuff that we had left there was still there.
Yeah, nobody had come afterwards. Oh man, that was great. So those, you brought that cheese, right?
Yeah, the cheddar cheese,
You guys remember?
and then
Yeah,
I forget what you had.
There was some. Oh, this is great, dude. These are shots from when we. This was that was the first time we went backpacking.
Yeah,
right?
Shenandoah.
Because we didn't have any before.
Even more than the Smokies.
Yeah.
Out of the water bottle. And then we used the other half to like make a spoon. And we were, like,
Oh my God,
had to
that's
drink
so
soup,
funny.
And like the other part, we were like.
We've only improved slightly. Like we've only gotten like slightly less stupid.
After a bit of reminiscing, it was on to the unfamiliar with us.
Like now we occasionally bring utensils, and only one person will actually have utensils.
Andrew will always be making like some sort of pair of chopsticks on the fly.
Oh, that's good for the camping hacks video.
This section of the trail wound up
Yeah.
and down.
It's true.
Chopsticks made
Not
from.
far from the junction.
Just need to
we
learn how
found
to use
another
chopsticks,
campsite,
too.
which we decided to explore.
If people don't know how.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered, I mean, I guess I've thought about it, but I've always figured the reason you guys don't use hiking poles is because you've got the cameras on you.
Nice campsite. Holy.
Yeah, that's the only reason. I would love to use hiking poles. Otherwise.
But you did use them.
Somebody trying to cut that tree down?
No, yeah, we were. That's what we were talking about. We were like, what the heck was going on here? Because this, we thought maybe someone was trying to knock this tree down because they wanted to camp here and they thought this tree was a hazard, so they'd try and like knock it over
The
first.
weather is just warm enough.
Because it definitely
I
looks
would
like
never
it was
try to do
chipped
that.
at. Yeah, I would just say, okay,
It
don't
just
camp
seems
near
really
it.
dangerous. Yeah. Were you gonna say, did I use hiking poles on Whitney?
Yeah.
Was that what you were gonna ask? Yeah. So with Whitney though, we didn't bring the big tripod and we didn't bring the Steadicam. So we just had a small tripod that we had to carry.
We initially wanted to just
So,
dip our
in
feet
your
in the
opinion,
water
like
for
I
a
guess
bit.
compared
How
to
could we call it
Yosemite,
an Adventure
do you
Archives
think
episode if
the
we don't
hiking
get
poles made a
naked
huge
in freezing
difference?
cold water?
I guess it's really
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to compare, but
I know it looks sunny and nice.
Well, I
but
mean,
it's cold right now.
When we were at Whitney, hiking poles were hugely helpful. Like they definitely make hiking easier, especially if there's any type of uphill or downhill.
yeah. For me, the downhill
Downhill,
really,
especially
really helps.
like it's good for bracing your legs. Like you don't have to like jam your feet into the ground. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You guys are crazy, man. I was like,
It's fun. Like it's not like traditional swimming where it's like relaxing. It's just like this fun like body shock type
Yeah.
of deal.
like I guess kind of like polar bears, the actual people who swim in the winter. It's like they don't do it just because they're like, oh, I'm gonna go swim in the cold water. They do it because it's like a way of feeling alive, I guess.
Yeah. Definitely makes you feel alive. That underwater shot too. I think this was probably the first iPhone 7 shot we got with that.
In this
the iPhone
episode
7
or in
is
general?
Waterproof now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
No, I mean just we use it for underwater shots and stuff now.
Yeah,
I think
because
this is
we
the first
used
time.
it in the one after this, which was New River Gorge, when they went under the waterfall.
We weren't very eager to leave.
Oh,
But
right. yeah.
alas, we had
You
to
know,
keep hiking.
those type of shots like where we're all standing there and it's like a scripted shot basically, like we're like, okay, let's all go stand here
Yeah.
and pretend like you're looking. Or it's those are funny because I posted like a little line from a book I was reading in the group chat that we have. And it was talking
It's
about
amazing how much beauty we can pass up. in
there's
day-to-day
kind of like
life
this
when
fine
we forget
line
to be in the
between
moment,
performance
with an
and
awareness of the things
reality
happening right before
and
our
how
eyes.
like instead of like in other cultures he was talking about Japanese puppet theater and how they don't try to
course, there are
hide the
times when beauty
performance
reveals
as much
itself
as we do
more
in
effortlessly.
Western theater, to where it's like you don't want to see any of the seams or like the inner workings of it. And it's
Yeah.
like you want to think that that actor is actually the person, but they do that less so in like Japanese puppet theater. And I feel like this is kind of like the same thing. It's like, yes, it's not a real, we weren't really looking there because we obviously had to set the camera up and then figure out where we are all standing and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But there's still like an authenticity about it, I feel like.
It's so funny how like
I
And
think
it's
it
not
kind
like,
of.
it's not diminished is what I mean.
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
the water
I think it
splatters
kind of
on it,
helps
it's
bridge
it's like some sort of watercolor
the
painting.
idea,
Maybe the water's red.
because like in throughout our videos, you see us hiking and
It must be.
talking and just sitting and eating and stuff, but it kind of like just one scene like that can really just remind someone
Even in
that
things that we often
stop and
disregard
just take a
as
look around and
unpleasant or
see just how much beauty there is around you.
You know what it is?
Because
Yeah.
we can't just have a whole video showing us standing and looking around at everything.
And that's the extent
Right,
of my
yeah,
mushroom
it'd be boring to
knowledge.
watch.
Even these ambiguous polypores, called Trametes
It's funny
elegans,
though
have
because we've
intricate
talked
beauty to
about
them
this
for those
before.
who pay
It's
attention.
so hard to capture what it actually looks like to the human eye and to your own experience when you're there. So it's like you kind of have to just. It's kind of like the cinematography
Holy mama.
shows it to you in a different way, but still
Look at the fungus
tries
on
to
that.
give you the same sort of
Algae or
like
something.
awe. from
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Oh, dude, I was super proud of this song. This is one of those. Sometimes I make a song and it's just whatever, and I'm done with it when I'm done with it. But when I wrote this song, like I was playing it all day, and I like went running to it. And everyone's like, "Yeah, the song's so good," and that's actually how the vocal part came because I was just singing along to the melody,
Where
and
the
then I was
beauty
like,
of
"Oh,
each
you know, I'm
moment
gonna
in
put
life
vocals in
is
this,
beauty.
dude. I haven't done that in a long time."
Most days we forget
And my
to enjoy the
instructions to
magnificent
Nathan
wonders
for the
happening
drum
all
part
around
was, I
us.
was like,
And life rolls by
literally
while
do
we
whatever
look
you
the other
want,
way.
and I want you to go crazy. So like later in the song, like the stuff he starts doing is really cool. Oh, there was ice right there.
Yeah.
That shows how cold it was just from that.
It can be easy to forget just how incredible existence is.
Do you
Too
remember,
often
did
as
we
sit
take the same
indoors
path
doing jobs that we think
in
are
as we did
pointless,
out?
The highs and lows of life erode
Oh.
away. leaving a barren.
No,
No,
we didn't, because we hiked to my car.
Right,
yeah.
right.
It was only slightly different though. I think it started branching off.
Yeah.
like,
Oh, maybe it
coming
was
up
that
soon.
one junction where we stopped at.
Oh, maybe, yeah. See, like that shot right there, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Is like, you would never see that environment like that with your own eyes.
Yeah.
But you see it like with the camera. Or like this shot right here.
Yeah.
That's not how we experienced it, but it's a better experience to give it, to show you that than to just show you like a GoPro mounted to our forehead.
Yeah.
Or the view from a GoPro mounted to our
The hard
forehead.
rock, the cold wind, and the fresh
All I
air
want
filling our
is
lungs
sharks
wipe away the
with
haze left in
frickin'
our minds
GoPros on their
by
foreheads.
and inducing us a feeling of being human.
Yeah, so right there you can see the tripod Andrew's holding. That's like the only time. Well, there was a shot of the camera in the campsite earlier, but one of the few times in this episode where you could actually see
It's
the
out
equipment.
here that we remember that both crippling pain and ecstatic pleasure are integral parts of life, ever swirling about in balance.
That's a cool rock. I think that's just water melting, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But it's at home, in the cities, and on the streets.
Oh, this was before we had the
hand in hand with
4K
other
slow
people,
motion camera.
where we can
Oh,
fight and
it
struggle
was?
to remember as a
Oh
whole
yeah, the
society
GH5
Yeah.
the fundamental truths.
was when we got
This
that.
was with the old camera.
We are a
I
species
love
that
ending
gravitates towards
episodes with slow
cooperation
motion.
Yeah.
in the face of adversity.
I feel
The
like
cheesy melodrama is like so good.
that
man.
started with Red River.
Oh yeah, we did do that in Red River, didn't we?
This is.
Well, it's kind of funny too because
I was gonna say I love how this scene coincides with the music. It's like so good.
When you forget what it is to be human,
yeah, it did match really
step
well.
outdoors, close your eyes.
What I was gonna say though, it's
Let the
funny.
fresh
We've
air
gotten
fill your
less,
heart.
not flashy, but less complicated with our endings. Like if you look at the Dolly Sods ending, there's like all these like things fading in and out. This shot was really cool. We drove to a separate area, went to a cliff, and then we put
Yeah,
the camera
yeah,
really far
some
back and
overlook.
zoomed in really far. Yeah. There's actually 2 other people there who were climbers, and were there right before we talked to them for a second, and then they left.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Man, I've got a lot to say about this pizza that's coming up.
Oh yeah, here comes the real commentary.
Oh man.
Thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Viewers just
Yeah, we
like
gotta
yourself
stop
can
putting
check
these.
out
Oh, this one's not so bad.
support the show, including
Gotta do the
Sunny and Huang,
shout outs at some point.
Trail
Yeah.
to Hike, check out our YouTube channel.
Those
John Truitt wanted to give a shout out to
3-person shots, like,
who live in
I think
Yukon.
part of the reason why I find those so
Also,
like
another special
indicative
shout out to
of
Paul
Adventure Archives is like that's literally our YouTube avatar.
Yeah.
Is one of those 3 shots of us looking off into the distance.
Thank you and to all of our patrons. We'll see you next time.
Ah, good old Miguel's Pizza.
Miguel's. God, dude,
If-
every time I
If we go there again, I'm getting my own pizza.
Oh god.
None
yeah,
of this.
dude.
Oh, let's share 2 pizzas.
I mean, it's like, I know I shouldn't be mad about this, but I'm so mad about this pizza. Andrew got this.
It's like
the worst pizza. The worst.
like we're here at this place that we drove a really long way to, but why not just have barbecue broccoli pizza or whatever it was?
He put barbecue sauce, broccoli.
Olives, broccoli, mushrooms, onions, barbecue
Oh god, the worst pizza, dude. I'm so mad. What was the other one? Was it? Hold on, I can't remember what the other pizza was. The other pizza, I think you and me chose, right?
Yeah, it was more normal.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you for a second. So I just went to Jungle Jim's recently. It's like this grocery store that has literally everything you can buy, and they had that stuff there.
L8. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
a you and me pizza.
Yeah, there you go. Sausage and pepperoni, Brian, my man. We knew what we were doing.
I was just talking to Andrew. I guess we'll be doing that commentary next, but the pizza after New River Gorge was so good.
Oh yeah, that was
some
really
intense
good.
pizza, and it was awesome.
We also all got our own pizza, so we didn't have to.
Yeah.
I think actually this is when I first realized that Andrew, when he says that he likes something, it doesn't mean anything.
When he says he likes something, it means he likes it, and not necessarily anyone else likes it.
Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with its inherent
Andrew
goodness.
order another pizza again.
I think it's delicious.
All right, 2 thumbs up. It's terrible.
That is a great place, though. It's like what I was gonna say though at the beginning is every time I go to that place, what I think about that place is how do you run a business, or how do you start a business that is guaranteed success like that?
Yeah, I mean they pretty
Like,
much
just-
have like a monopoly because
Yeah, they have a dead monopoly and
Yeah.
like.
But I guess it's just kind of like it became, since Red River Gorge is such a favorite climbers place,
Oh, I
that
was
they
talking
just
about
happened
Lord
to
of the
hit
Rings. The
strike
race.
gold by setting up a pizza place there.
Yeah, they definitely struck some gold.
Deduce what scene from Simpsons came
Oh,
from
this
that,
was
like,
the,
that happened and then happened.
ring
Oh,
race.
okay.
Okay, so the story
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
so you were talking about the ring race earlier, how the log looked like the thing Frodo hid behind.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, actually, I was gonna
remember
mention what
watching
part
scene
that
and
was.
thinking It was like such a skimpy.
It was when we
amount
were
of
sitting
cover
on the
yet.
log at the very beginning, but
And a
Yeah.
very similar experience. With
yeah, so that was a good episode.
In college, me and my roommate, we were
Surprisingly,
going to get white
like
Castle.
despite the fact that we only hiked
It was like at
3 miles.
3,
and
4
so
a.m.
when you think about it, we
There's a
hiked
bike trail,
3
like,
miles.
goes
That
along
was
the
the
river.
entire
So we're
episode,
walking on that.
and
We
then
went to White
a
Castle, went through
montage
the
at the end that
drive-thru,
was like 5
except we
minutes
were on
long.
foot.
Was like the
Got our
other
things.
3 miles.
I think we got
So we
like
did like
grade
6 miles
case, and we
total.
came back
Yeah.
down. And like when we came back
It's-
down, just on
I,
the
th-
bike
I
trail,
actually
saw
think I
headlights.
remember when
And the
we
bike
were
trail's, like,
hiking
maybe
out,
this
we
wide,
were
like,
wondering
not
if we
wide
had
enough
enough
for a car.
footage to
And we
make
were
an
like, "What is
episode.
that?" My roommate just got a
Yeah.
really
But I think
big like,
we wondered that a
and
lot anyways.
so the bike trail's like
Yeah, we always done that.
sort of a wall down to the
Because
shore
after
riverbank.
Shenandoah,
Just jumped down.
after the
like, hit right
Shenandoah
up against
episode,
that
it only
wall,
came
just
out to be
like
like
Frodo with the
45
ring
minutes.
race.
We were like,
And
wow.
Waiting a
So
while.
we've been super
Yeah, no, we
careful
sneak
to
up.
just overshoot
across
and
the
make
bridge.
sure
So
we
like,
find
snuck around,
enough cool
climbed
stuff
back
to
up on
do
the bridge,
so that we
crossed the
actually
river,
have
and then walks back
a
on the other
meaty
side of the
episode.
bridge. When we were on the other side, we just
Meaty,
saw the
just the way I like my
headlights. They had
pizza.
like another light, and it was like swerving around and moving around.
I know, I'm
Like they
all
have on
for
Taco Bell, but
vegetarian
like,
pizza.
no idea
Just
what
like, come on, man, don't put
Maybe it's just somebody
broccoli,
hiking.
onions, mushrooms, and
Yeah, I
barbecue
don't know.
sauce.
Part of me
Like
wonders if they
barbecue
just have, like,
sauce?
Yeah.
go-karts,
Come on, man.
Security go-karts or something.
Maybe somebody had a headlamp.
I mean,
on
I
it.
guess I'm not a big fan of barbecue
Oh, that
sauce
could've
on
been it,
pizza
yeah.
in
It was
general.
either, like, a bit of hassle where like law
No,
enforcement
well,
would
like
ask us
barbecue
to do it.
sauce, I could understand,
like,
like depending, like, but I feel like you need
Worst
meat
case scenario is some sort of,
if you're gonna put barbecue
Yeah,
sauce
you
on a
need
pizza.
some meat. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's barbecue, man. So, Clifty Wilderness. Well, I guess we called it Daniel Boone National Forest, but it was Clifty Wilderness too. But
burger race.
would you recommend it to people?
Well, it's just like you said earlier. I would say do Red River Gorge first, and then do Clifty Wilderness. Clifty
Yeah.
Wilderness is definitely less traveled and a little bit more wild. But Red River Gorge, I feel like, has the better sights and everything.
What did I?
Yeah, because it's designated wilderness, right? So like they don't bring in like actual machinery until
Oh yeah.
like they decide to actually clear everything out.
Yeah.
They do that like once a year or something. Cool. Okay, so final thoughts for the episode, if any.
It was definitely. I definitely did not remember a lot of that episode until I started watching it, and then it all just came flooding back. But it was still a good
Definitely
trip.
not very memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty good trip. I think that storm actually was surprisingly the most memorable part.
Yeah.
On the surface, that'd be kind of like something you don't want to remember, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we talked about it, but it was so funny because, or maybe we showed it in the episode. I can't remember. But we're just laughing like idiots in the tarp, and then you can't hear, like you can just hear like faintly us laughing in the distance.
Oh, I do remember like I remember a very loud lightning and thunder, and then I heard you guys, and I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, what? I thought you guys were like screaming or yelling or something. And I was like, oh God, what's going on?
What's that Simpsons or something where he's like, oh God, you can hear them, they're dying in there, and it's like, God, I wish I could remember what that was. Well, okay, never mind. thank you for listening / watching to this commentary. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and hopefully this commentary wasn't too boring.
And next up will be, I think, New River Gorge.
Yep, New River Gorge. So we will see you soon. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.